Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie, summarized by Steve Courage and voiced by Uyo Uyo. Immediately after we are married, myself and my wife, we were confronted with a problem, and that is pregnancy. Now, that isn't a problem because pregnancy is anything. It's a problem because in my part of the world, you are expected to bear children immediately after you are married. And when I say immediately, I mean immediately. So if for any reason you are not pregnant for 3 months after you are married, you are in trouble, from the in-laws to your parents to your friends and to any other person who knows you in between. How do you handle such situation? I made sure I let my wife know that it makes no sense that anybody is worried because of tomorrow. Why worry because you don't have today what you will ultimately have? Why worry about yesterday which neither you nor anybody can reverse? The first major lesson in Stop Worrying and Start Living is don't postpone your happiness till tomorrow because of what you don't have today. And don't waste time worrying about yesterday because it's gone. Live in the present. By the way, if this is your first time on our channel, welcome and consider subscribing because we'll help you to discover secrets of success from the world's best books and great people. Let's move to the second lesson. In the year 2008, when I was going to the business world, I sat down to imagine what the worst case scenario could be. I had just less than $50 in my pocket, and everybody wanted me to become a college graduate and an accountant, while I wanted to go into the business world. I knew I was taking the risk of not finishing with school, going to the business world and failing in the business world. What if I venture into the business, wasted many years, money, and eventually failed? Anyway, I sat myself down to ask myself what could be the worst case scenario. If I go to the business world right then, what exactly could be the worst thing that could happen? And my answer was very simple. The worst thing that could happen is I lost it all after I have wasted many years trying to do things that makes no sense. The next question I asked myself was, if that happens, how will I feel? I concluded that if after wasting many years and money trying to build a business, I ended up as a failure, I'll probably consider myself a hero and figure out how to move on with life. Because I was able to imagine the worst case scenario, I was able to be courageous enough to start out in the business world. If you want to really do something with your life and you are fearful, worried and afraid, simply imagine the worst case scenario. Just ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen if I try this? Now, after you imagine the worst thing that can happen, then sit down to look for ways you can improve your worst case scenario. In that case, you won't be worried, you won't be a coward, neither will you be worried about what can happen. Instead, you are going to take proactive actions while you are preventing the implications of the worst case scenario. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you're afraid of public speaking and you have reason to speak with 10,000 people and you are worried and having sleepless nights. Why can't you just sit down and imagine the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario here? The worst case scenario is when you face these 10,000 people and try to speak, your hands are shaking and your head is shaking and you fall down on the podium. Yes, that is the worst case scenario. Now, if this is the worst case scenario, what can you do to minimize the effect of that worst case scenario? Alright, maybe you can try to wear a flat shoe so that you will not fall. Maybe you should spend more hours practicing your speech in front of a mirror. Maybe you have some deep breath before you enter the podium. You get what I'm talking about, right? The second major lesson in Stop Worrying and Start Living is, if you are worried about anything, simply imagine the worst case scenario and try to reduce the possibility of the worst case scenario. Now think about it. Many a times when we are worried, sad or moody, it is not really because of what happens to us or what happens around us. Most of the times, it is what people do or the way people behave to us. Take a lesson from Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln believed that it's a complete waste of time to keep grudges or hate people because they hated him. People who criticize or hate you don't care about you in the first place. Hating or worrying about them is a waste of your time and emotion. The third major lesson in Stop Worrying and Start Living is keep no grudge and hate nobody because they hate you. I remember when I was growing up, my father expected me to appreciate him for everything and anything he gave me. If my father gave us school fees today, he expected us to come tomorrow and say, "Daddy, thank you." And any day we didn't go to him to say thank you, Dad was never going to be happy. That could sound crazy, but the same thing happens with most people today. We give mostly because we want to receive something back, and if we get nothing back, we are sad. The fourth major lesson in Stop Worrying and Start Living is, if you want to be happy, give without expecting anything in return. Do good without expecting people to even appreciate you. Take a moment to think about how unhappy most women are because they compare themselves with one another. If you are a woman watching this video, I apologize. I'm saying the truth. As long as you compare your clothes with that of another person, or your shoes, skills, talent, or anything you have, as long as you don't see yourself as a unique human being, whether you are a man or a woman, you'll always be worried and unhappy. The fifth major lesson in Dale Carnegie's Stop Worrying and Start Living is, if you want to be happy, stop comparing yourself with other people. Now, let's discuss. What lessons do you think I missed in this book? What points would you like to add? Which other good books would you like our team to summarize next? We love to receive your comments. If you love this summary, our team will be very happy if you can like this video and share it with your friends on social media. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, subscribe now and turn on the notification, because we'll help you to discover secrets of success from the world's best books and great people. Kindly check the description box to download our free book titled 13 Secrets School Did Not Teach You About How to Be Rich. We love you.